I think it's time for a deep sports thought, all right? And the deep sports thought, what we do is we go across the sports world and we go into topics that a lot of passive-aggressive radio hosts are too scared to look at. And I was listening to one last week, and he had a caller call in, and he was talking about Major League Baseball and NBA, they're making all this money. And he comes on and says, and I quote, "I am just so sad that the NFL does not have any guaranteed money contracts." And I should have pulled over the car right there because I was fuming. Do people even understand what happened back in 2012? I'll tell you what happened, all right? Back then, before the NFL strike was about to happen here, and we were probably not going to have any NFL football for that year.
Sad.
Jeff Saturday and Robert Kraft, you remember that? The press conference, they were there, they were hugging because Robert Kraft's wife passed away that year as well. But also, something different happened. The players lost complete power in the NFL. They forgot to read the CBA. Remember, we always talking about here on Turner Chi-Town, read between the lines. Read between the lines. They didn't read the print because they gave all the power to Roger Goodell and the owners. The owners now have the power. If you get a 5-year contract and you don't perform well in your first year, if you're an absolute bust or you're injured,
you're not
they could
getting any more money.
Exactly. They could cut you, and then whoever else wants to take your contract will take it, but they might give you a 1-year deal at best.
Which is why these guys fight for guaranteed money.
Right, but at the same time, I mean, you get all of this guaranteed money for a reason. I don't want to hear this nonsense about, we should feel bad for NFL players because they don't get guaranteed money contracts. Give me a break. Perform. You're out there. You're one of the best players on free agency. You should be out there performing in your first year. No questions asked.
How many times have we seen players in other sports get these huge contracts? I don't want to drop any names, Derrick Rose. Get these huge contracts, and they don't and they don't perform up to par. They don't outlive the contract. They don't fulfill the contract, and they are still paid. And now look, we're going into the last year of a huge contract for one of those players I didn't mention. And he's getting ready to probably get another big contract.
I'm sure.
In the NFL, you do, and it is sad because it is the most dangerous sport. I wish there was some way we could flip-flop some of these rules with certain sports, but that's in a perfect world. Right. This is not a perfect world. These guys have to play for these contracts in the NFL.
Yeah, and I don't want to hear about, how the NFL is a billion-dollar enterprise. You know what? You want the guy to blame the most. You want the true blue guy to blame DeMaurice Smith. He is the fool
president.
that leads the NFL Players Association. He is the one that pretty much lost all the power that the NFL Players Association had when Paul Tagliabue was the commissioner. And now it is gone. And I don't have any sympathy. You're stupid enough to sign the deal. You're dumb enough to sign the deal.
A lot of those guys, and they realize that a lot of those guys have families, and they had
I get it,
mortgages to pay, and a lot of the veteran guys probably would have been able to sustain for a while, but a lot of the younger guys and even some of the 2- and 3-year guys were having a hard time. I remember that, and they just wanted to get it over with and make sure they played. And at the time, they were happy with the deal. Everybody just wanted to play, but now they're playing. Now they're paying for it.
And they should. I mean, that's what DeMaurice Smith did, so they might as well just deal with it. That's my bottom line with that. And I can't believe people just continue coming out saying, I feel so bad for the NFL players. They have no guaranteed money. Oh, cry me a river.
Well, I was one of those guys, and I wasn't necessarily worried about
and that's fine. That's
money.
your opinion.
I always worried about, the fans watching it from a point of view and not from a business point of view, where they get mad at the players for holding out for more money. And see, you can't have it both ways. You can't be mad at the player for holding out for more money and then be mad at him for wanting guaranteed money as well. These guys got families to feed, and although they do make a lot of money,
they lot of money.
They deserve it. These guys put a beating on their bodies, and they deserve it. Football is if not the harshest next to hockey, it's the harshest sport on your body. These guys are in pain for years after they retire. Even the guys that only play a few years. I mean, look at all the lawsuits. You can play football and not remember your name by the time you're 50 years old. Some of the cases are very sad.
Did you see the movie Concussion?
Yeah, I saw that last year. I'm gonna have to watch that again. I watched it right before the Oscars because I just wanted to make sure I knew what it was about. But I need to sit down and watch it again.
I just wish that they would have just focused more on the players that were going through this moments instead of making it the Doctor TV movie of the year.
Yeah, well, I think if you'd have went into the players
Right.
role, and you would have
Yeah.
had it'd have been a lot. It'd have been like Crash. You'd have had 10 different things going on at 10 different times, and then have
But
to
why not? I
bring
mean,
them all
that's what was
together at the
happening,
end.
though. That's what was happening. I mean,
Well-
that scene with Andre Waters,
Will Smith can only play one part.
and he was so good at it. But the problem was is that they just focused way too much on the Doctor that, found out CTE and all that. But I wanted to learn more about the players. I didn't want to see a bunch of grainy footage from a news station. I wanted to learn about these players. I wanted to get to know them.
I would have been
And-
happy watching it from Dave
Right.
Dorson's point of view.
But I think I can make a good point here that, I mean, we should not have any sympathy when it comes to guaranteed money. You either play out your contract or you don't.
Yeah, you play it well when it's your time to negotiate.
Right.
You have to negotiate.
That's right.
That's the time to do it. Not
Uh-huh.
during even if you're going into the last year of your contract. That is not the time to do it. You do it when your contract is up.
Well, that's what happens when you got a hard salary cap. I mean, soft salary caps for the NBA and also for Major League Baseball. But you know what? The NFL is just going to have to deal with it. And that was our Deep Sports Thought here, presented by, of course, myself, Jake Turner, and Ray Cole. 773-966-24